When I teach writing, one of the key ways I love to teach structure is a very simple theory that I like to call the flying buttress theory, which is you have your core story and then everything else that's shooting off from that story is also in a way supporting that story and making the entire structure possible. So like the great cathedrals that have the great tower, but then the wings that are connecting from the ground back to the tower, they are all coming together to make the majestic thing that we think of as, oh, this cathedral. And for me, one of the perfect examples of that is Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, where it's a movie I've seen probably 30 times, partly because I like to teach it, but partly because I love watching Grace Kelly and all of those costumes, but also because it's perfect, and it's famously perfect, so I'm not saying anything new here. But when you first watch the movie, you might think, this is a story of a man solving a murder, a man and his girlfriend solving a murder across the apartment building and poking in on everybody's lives. But what really comes to the core is like, the question that's really being asked is, will James Stewart's character and will Grace Kelly's character separate or get married? And so it's almost like for all of the murder question of the book, of the movie, the question really is a breakup story. Are they going to commit to each other or are they not? And then if you go in with that lens and you see every story that's going on in the apartment building, they are all possible futures for these two people. So you have Miss Lonely Hearts, who's at the bottom. She is who Grace Kelly can be if James Stewart rejects her, and maybe she'll try to commit suicide. You have the beautiful Miss Torso, who's up in an apartment having men knock down her door, and she's desperately just trying to fend off these wealthy men who are trying to take advantage of her beauty. Also a possible future for Grace Kelly. There's a kind of a bohemian middle-aged artist who is considered from the film unattractive, but she's obviously just doing her own thing and does not care about the male gaze, does not care about anything. She seems like a pretty good future in my book. And then you have the composer upstairs, who's the male artist working by himself. There's only one family in the entire movie that has children, and you just see them upstairs very occasionally. So that's another possible future for these two. But of course, the key one is the unhappy marriage where the man is driven to murdering his wife. And that is also the violent undertext here of like, if they get together, there's a pretty unhappy version in here. So to me, it all comes together. So each of these stories is a flying buttress to me, really holding up this column of will they or won't they? And to me, what really makes me feel like I'm absolutely right in this theory and you should listen to me is because the key evidence that Grace Kelly finds to tell us that indeed, I think his name is Torvald, Raymond Burr is the murderer, is she takes the wife's wedding ring. And we see James Stewart close in on her in the apartment across the way, and she points to her finger and it has a wedding ring on it. And that alone is the very thing that confirms all of this is true, is a wedding ring, which is inherently not an accident in any way possible. So that ring itself is a flying buttress. And so I think Hitchcock is a great model of thinking, even though everything is coming out in different ways and in different things, if the subconscious is working correctly in the project and the consciousness is working correctly in the project, everything is holding the deep core structure of what is being made.